Okay, it's done.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you to Nomi and to Blima, to Chaya, and to Rebbe Yagid. Good morning, everybody, again. It's my real pleasure and privilege this morning to introduce Chaya Hinda Allen. Chaya Hinda Allen empowers others by imbuing them with an optimistic approach to life, born of faith and trust in Hashem's goodness and love. For the past 25 years, Chaya Hinda has been guiding, teaching, coaching, and mentoring women of all ages and stages, from teenagers to great-grandmothers, professionals, entrepreneurs, stay-at-home moms, rebbetzins, community leaders, and more. She specializes in helping them cut overwhelm and frustration and gracefully navigate challenging relationships and life situations, sharing tools and insights through classes, guided imageries, one-on-one coaching, group coaching programs, trips, and retreats. When you join her community, be ready to laugh a lot along your path of growth and to be surprised by how much goodness you discover within yourself. I also want to add, because I've seen it, that she wrote many beautiful, inspiring messages included in a book by Yocheved Rottenberg, Write Your Way Home. So Chaya Hinda, we're very, very grateful to you for coming here this morning. Your generosity is so appreciated, and we welcome you, and go right ahead.
You know what? I'm sorry to interrupt. One second. I just want to mention a refuah shlema today for Aaron Gabriel Ben Sima. That he should have a refuah shlema this year, should be a refuah shlema for him. Thank you.
Amen. And for all Chayli Yisrael, Hashem, thank you for such a beautiful time spent already with the Nishmas and Miss Malasoida and all of the Tehillim and Brachas. It was very, very special. Certainly prepares us in the right mood. So big shekayach to all the special ladies in the group. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, very well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I wanted to speak about loving Hashem, because it's one of these really big things that we don't necessarily always have a chance to talk about. When I was giving a very, very long series, the beginning was always about emun and bitachon and simcha and a lot of the things that are much more accessible, and loving Hashem somehow, whilst it is basically fundamental, and I think it needs to be right at the beginning of everything that we learn about, it somehow seems to be more theoretical. It's something that maybe people feel is more aspirational. So I want to address that point right away. Rav Elia Roth, who was a gabbai to many of the Zvila Rebbes, Zecher Tzadik and Livracha, at one point he was coming home from shul, and he ended up standing in a street corner talking to some other men who accompanied him home from shul, and they were talking about Avos Hashem. And one of his talmid, one of his associates, came along and saw him standing on the street corner talking about Avos Hashem, and he said, is this what our generation is ready for? Standing in the street corners and talking about Avos Hashem? Isn't it a bit presumptuous? Maybe he was saying. And maybe I'm being a bit presumptuous, me standing up talking about Avos Hashem. And so Rav Elia answered, and he said, there was once a king, and the king made a decree that they were not allowed to drink any alcohol. We know what happened in America when they did that. But in this particular place, when the king decreed that there was no alcohol, there was no alcohol because it was on pain of death. And so hardest hit was the shikorim, those that were, the alcoholics, that they didn't know what to do with themselves. And so instead of Elia, they decided they have to get together and somehow encourage each other, because now that they can't drink, what are they going to do? So they got together a table, and they got some of their empty bottles, and they put their empty bottles around the table, and each one in turn began to talk about the good old days when they could drink as much as they liked. And one of them started to wax lyrical, wow, what I used to feel when I would drink, and then I just would forget all of my troubles and I'd feel so wonderful. And the other one continued the narrative, and he said, yeah, I would just start to drink and I'd feel that alcohol spread throughout my body, and the incredible pleasure that I would just feel when I felt it. Oh, those were the days. And around the table, all of the drunks, each, no longer drunks, they continued the discussion around the table about how they missed the drink and how wonderful they felt when they would drink and what it did to their mind and what it did to their body. And they just continued to longingly describe how they missed their drink and what they felt about it. And in the telling, they somehow consoled themselves that even if they couldn't drink right now, but at least they could talk about drinking. So said Reb Elia, we're in the Ikvus of the Mashiach, where Be'ez Hashem, we are in hopefully in the days before Mashiach comes, if not the day before Mashiach comes. We're in the times before Mashiach comes. And, to start to say that we understand, I start to say that I understand Avos Hashem, can't say that I understand Avos Hashem, but to talk about it, to at least arouse some yearning for it, that we should want to feel some of it, like the drunks around the table with the empty bottles. So that's where we are. That's where I am, a drunk around the table, wishing that we could have the taste of what that liquor of Avos Hashem could be for us. So with that in mind, we'll delve a little bit into what it means to love Hashem. In Parshas Nasai, it's brought down the bracha that the Kohanim bless Klal Yisrael. And here in Eretz Yisrael, welcome Naomi, here in Eretz Yisrael, we're zeichet to having Birkas Kohanim many times in the year. I know that in Chutz La'aretz, it's more of a rare occurrence, but one of the interesting things the Nesiv Shalom brings down about the bracha about, you like that story? I'm glad you like that. That the Nesiv Shalom brings down about, what was I just saying? One second, I just confused myself. About Birkas Kohanim is, why is the bracha of Kohanim that Hashem commanded us to bless Klal Yisrael ba'ahava? Maybe they could bless Klal Yisrael with generosity. Maybe they could bless Klal Yisrael with gratitude. Why davka levarchas Am Yisrael ba'ahava? And so the Nesiv Shalom explains that we know that there's tremendous bracha up in Shemayim, and that the blessings and the goodness and the light and the wisdom, everything comes down gradually to us, and it comes down through means. There are those that bestow and those that receive, and between the one who is bestowing HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the one who is receiving us, there needs to be a medium. I was just explaining actually to my 12-year-old daughter about why a drop of fleishig meat that fell on a milchig tablecloth didn't make it fleishig, because it was very lukewarm at the time that it fell down. And it was saying, when we have something fleishig, we have something milchig that has to be heat, and there has to be moisture, has to be wet and hot if you want it to be transference. And in order that there be transference of the blessings, there has to be some intermediary. There has to be something that holds the two together. Otherwise, there's no transference. If you have a very cold milchig spoon and a very cold, clean fleishig pot, you're not making any transference of flavor here. So the point is, there are intermediaries, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu has blessings, and the Kohanim are accessing those blessings and giving them down to Klal Yisrael. And the Nesiv Shalom mentions that the intermediary is Ava. If there is no Ava, if there's no love, then the blessing doesn't come down. It's love that actually creates the bonding, that creates the transference. And this is throughout areas of our lives. And another fascinating story, which gives us a little insight into the Gedolim of previous generations, and also into how little we understand about what's really going on, is a story about Reb Asher Freund. A woman came to Reb Asher Zatzal, and she said her neighbor's sister was deathly ill, and could Reb Asher please bench this neighbor's sister that she should get better. Reb Asher looked at his Talmud, and after a couple of moments, he said, call in your neighbor. So the Talmud went off, found his neighbor and called his neighbor in. Rav Asher sat with the neighbor about his sister, about the neighbor's sister, and Baruch Hashem, a refuah shalema was brought down, was effected for this neighbor's sister. And afterwards, at some point soon afterwards, the original Talmud went back into Rav Asher to speak to him. And he said, among other things, Shkoyach for the refuah, for the Yeshua that you affected. And Rav Asher looked at him and he said, what do you mean? What do you care? The Talmud was taken aback. He said, what do you mean? What do I care? I brought in the neighbor. I mentioned the sister to you in the first place. What do you mean? What do I care? Rav Asher said, look, when you first came in and mentioned your neighbor's sister, I tried to affect a refuah through you. But I saw that you didn't care enough. And that's why I called in your neighbor, because he cared about his sister. And so through him, I could affect the refuah. What this means, I really don't have a clue, okay, how a person could affect a refuah through somebody else, and the love would mean that they could affect it. Again, I don't have a clue how this works, but that it worked and that was how Rav Asher was able to affect refuahs and Yeshuas, that I believe. And so that love is the mediary, love is the intermediary, love is the midpoint that actually is powerful and creates an effect in this world. Love is not just a very warm, wonderful feeling. It's not just like an ideal state that we want to live in. It is a powerful state that brings down blessing from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to us and between people. So learning how to access our love for Hashem, our love of Hashem, is even if we only speak about it, and even if we just try and arouse a little bit of longing for it so that we want it, that's also good enough. In the Sefer Mavakshe Emunah, the previous Toldos Adar Rebbe writes that there's a pasuk brought down in the Navi. Show me the Mavakshe Emunah, and I will forgive the sins of Yerushalayim in the schus of the Mavakshe Emunah. In the merit of those who seek faith, forgiveness will be given. Meaning that we're not expected, and we're not judged on our achievements. We're not expected to achieve, and we're not judged on our achievements. And so much of our self-esteem, tragically and unfortunately, in our generation, is tied to our achievements, what we're managing to do, or how bad we feel if we're not managing to do. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't see us according to our accomplishments and achievements. Hashem sees our essence and who we are. And so when we can view ourselves as beloved of Hashem, when we can recognize that simply aspiring to, wanting to, that when we can feel our aspiration to love Hashem as an internal value, even if we haven't got it yet, this is already enough. This is already being on the journey. We're not expected to do more than that. So we can be satisfied with being mavakshim, with seeking out Avas Hashem. And I'm just going to ask for a reminder when it's about 20 minutes before you want me to finish, let me know, because I don't want to start a guided imagery, because I feel that guided imagery is a way that we can help ourselves to integrate and absorb the ideas so that they don't stay up in the sky. Okay, so I want to give us a few points before we begin the guided imagery, not knowing exactly how long we have, because I'm not very necessarily time bound, but so just let me know when it's 20 minutes. So that
you have like 15-20 minutes and then we'll have a discussion, so you're doing fine. Thank you. Okay,
we have 15-20 minutes and then we have a discussion, and then we have the guided imagery.
No, we would have 15 or 20 minutes now, including the guided imagery.
Great.
And then time after for that. Yeah, thanks so much, Hinda.
Okay, so I'm going to go like in the next 5 minutes. Thank you so much for that reminder. Okay, I'm just going to go through a few points that are brought down by Chazal, by the previous generations, of how we can access our own feelings of love for Hashem within ourselves. So the Rambam is very clear and well known. The Rambam says through his boinaness, through looking at the world, through deeply focusing on what is beautiful, wise, the intense goodness in the world. I want to make a very important distinction. We're not talking about the evil of mankind, okay? And that's often a very big block to us in experiencing Hashem's love. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us free choice. And here, in this 5 minutes, is obviously not the place to be able to talk about free will and free choice and how that is different. But we don't judge Hashem and creation by the worst in mankind, okay? But we access Hashem through the greatest parts in mankind. Where the greatest people end, the heights of the greatest people, that's where we begin to recognize the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem has created many forces within mankind, and people choose sometimes, Rahman Islam, to access their lowest parts. That the Kadosh Baruch Hu uses those free choice of people to help us to access the greatest within ourselves is one path through Emunah. Okay, so his boinaness in the fantastic outpouring of unconditional love that Kadosh Baruch Hu has placed within his creation, the wisdom of Hashem. And again, the Rambam is very clear about that when we know Hashem's wisdom through the creation, when we meditate deeply and think about aspects of creation that are literally mind-blowing, they really blow our mind when we just consider them for a little bit, that can help us to tune into how much we can love the creator of all of that. So in the guided imagery, I give us some moments to think about aspects of creation and parts of our own body so that we can access our inner hispilus, our inner awe when we consider those things. Another aspect that's important to know about love of Hashem, the Orach Chaim says in Parshas Kisisa that Hashem spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu face to face, panim upon him. The Orach Chaim explains on this that according to the degree that a person prepares himself, to that degree, he will receive HaKadosh Baruch Hu's input into his life. When we try to and aspire to and put effort into thinking about love of Hashem and trying to arouse it within our hearts, to that degree, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will reveal his love for us in our life. So we actually have the controls in our hand of how much of Hashem's love we feel in our lives. It doesn't feel like that's true in the beginning. We think, well, if Hashem would only show me good, people say to me, if Hashem would only do everything that I want, then of course I would know he loves me. But that's not how it goes. When we put it in our hearts to love Hashem, even when we feel dry and uninspired by it, to the degree that we put effort in, to that degree, again, it's not about succeeding. It's about the trying and the seeking. The more we seek, the more we try, the more Kadosh Baruch Hu responds. Another very interesting idea about Avos Hashem comes from the Likutei Torah. He says, a person should consider how much he loves life. And what we can know is that the love that we have for our life is actually the love that we have for Hashem. So in the guided imagery, we have some moments there to think about whatever it is that we love about life, whatever are the things that we really enjoy and love about our lives, that is our love of Hashem. And when we realize that that's what we're already feeling, we can then just make that switch in our mind and say, oh, this is my love of Hashem, because Hashem is my life. Hashem is my life force inside me. So I actually do already love Hashem because there's so many things I love about life. Okay, so we're going to listen to the guided imagery now. What I'm going to do is I have a photograph taken on one of my day trips with my ladies. Again, that you can't identify it with the ladies. It's just to help us to get so that you have a picture of beautiful greenery of Eretz Yisrael while this is guided image, so that you could see something if your eyes are open. If you like to keep your eyes closed, you can keep them closed. I'm going to be playing a guided imagery, okay? And after today, if anybody wants this guided imagery, if you just go to my site and join the email group, you will get this guided imagery for free. I'm giving it to anybody who mentions that you were in this group today. If you like it, just go ahead and use it, okay? So if anybody wants to just in the chat, if you have a specific question before we start the guided imagery, I'm happy to answer any question that comes in before. Okay, I'm just looking to the chat if anybody has. Okay, if anybody wants to, you can absolutely, after the guided imagery, you can type in questions into the chat and I will answer them. All right. And you can also, I mean, I don't know how exactly your chat works, but I will answer direct questions and also in the chat if you like, if you don't want to ask directly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, was I made a co-host? Can I share my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So here we, 1 second, there we go. Hope you can see that screen. See, isn't that nice? Okay, that was a beautiful day that we had out. And I just hope that will help you to relax a little while we listen. Okay. So this guided imagery is called To Feel Love of Hashem. Okay. Oh, 1 second. To feel love of Hashem. Can you hear okay? Is there any question? Sit comfortably with your eyes closed. Breathe deeply and feel your lungs drawing air inside your body. As you breathe out, release with this breath all tension and pain. Continue to breathe deeply and feel that Hashem gives you this breath with great love and compassion. As you breathe out, release with your breath all worry and extraneous thoughts. Breathe again and feel that this breath is absorbed throughout your body, spreading life and giving love to each and every cell. As you breathe out now, release the past and any negative feelings. Let them flow out and be gone. Feel how this breath connects you to Hashem, the one source of all life and goodness. Now imagine yourself surrounded by the peace and tranquility of the countryside. A lake, a forest, or the sea. Enjoy the view and the colors. Look all around. Listen to the birds' song and the other sounds of nature you can hear. Feel the caress of a gentle breeze. Breathe in the sense around you. Feel what you are sitting or resting on. this is your place. Enjoy its peaceful beauty and relax. Love is connection. Hashem wants us to connect to Him through love, and love through connection. To be able to receive truly all the good and blessing that Hashem wants to give us, we need to learn to feel love for Him. Imagine Hashem's awesome wisdom as it is expressed in His creation. Focus on a part of your body and appreciate its uniqueness. Choose a different part each time you think about this. Think about how it works, its structure, strength, flexibility, and amazing design. Think about all that you can do because you have it. Think about its versatility. For example, how the mouth is used for speech, biting, chewing, breathing, smiling, frowning, or even giving a kiss. Feel appreciation for the master designer, Hashem. Now focus on a specific creation. It could be a living creature or a plant, a system such as the ant colony, ecology, human society, or the solar system, or a force such as wind, gravity, or sunlight. Choose a different aspect of creation each time. Think about the details of this inspiring creation. Its profound design, its power, its unique construction, and its effect on the world. Every aspect of creation is designed for your personal benefit, with love, by the Creator of the world. Hashem tells us, I love you and am devoted to doing everything only for your good. Hashem designed and created all the intricate wisdom of the world. He loves you and wants you to love Him. All our lives and experiences have been a revelation of Hashem's love for us, sometimes hidden, sometimes revealed, always there. Remember a time when you strongly felt Hashem's goodness and love in your life. Relive that moment. Feel its touch. Remember every loving relationship you ever had. Everyone who loved you and who loves you today. This love surrounds you. All this love is an expression of Hashem's love for you. When we experience a love of life, this is actually our love of Hashem, who is our very life force within us. Imagine to yourself all the wonderful experiences that make you happy to be alive. Imagine the enjoyable moments, loving relationships, the thrill of accomplishment. Meaningful activities. Or the simple pleasure of just being. Imagine you have just been saved from great danger. Your life has been given to you anew. Feel your joy of life. Know that this is really your love of Hashem, who instills part of Him within you, giving you life. Elevate your feelings to the true source and begin to feel an energy of love that you direct to Hashem, the one absolute source of all love and life. Repeat to yourself in your mind, I am Hashem. If you would like to remain in this relaxed state, ignore the instructions to awake. I will count to 3. At 3, open your eyes, and you'll feel refreshed. 1, 2, come slowly out of your relaxed state. 3, open your eyes and feel refreshed. Hi everyone. I'll just stop the share of the screen. The third point about loving the things in our life relates to our love of Hashem. That was the Likutei Torah, Who wrote the Likutei Torah? I'm not sure. I saw it in the Likutei Torah. Okay. Where's the picture? What location is it? That was a tiyul that we took. Which particular tiyul was that? I think it was near Beit Shemesh, actually. It might have been near Tveria. Not sure whether it was Tveria or near Beit Shemesh. Any other questions? However you want to, take it from here about whatever. How does it go now?
I have a question, but I can't type because I'm driving. Can I ask you? Hi, Hinda.
Absolutely. Hi. How are you?
Hi, Baruch Hashem. Wow. As always, your guided imagery and meditation was beyond. But I'm driving, but it was beautiful.
Beautiful to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. You too. My question would be specifically that the idea of seeking a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and to the extent that you are making that effort is to the extent that Hashem is going to give back to you. But we all know Hashem is going to give to you, even if you are a Tinok Shenishba, even if you don't include him in your thoughts and you're not God conscious, Hashem's still guarding you and watching over you. So I guess with that in mind, my question would be, what specifically is Hashem giving more of to you when you are God conscious? Is it that we have more? Is the gift? Because I don't think the gift is more revealed good necessarily, because you can see many tzaddikim who don't. I mean, okay, so it's a little hard, the question. Like, on one hand, I guess I'm asking a two-part question. Like, are we getting more revealed goodness, but to the extent that we become more like infatuated and yearning for Hashem? Is it that the reward is that that Hashem is giving us more da'as, like more of a consciousness and an ability to establish a relationship? I'm just, hear the question.
It's going to be that last part. Okay, as you said, we know great tzaddikim that the revealed good that they're having is not necessarily what we would choose for ourselves, right? Exactly. But it's about, much more revealed Hashem in our lives. Okay, so it's going to be more revealed knowing Hashem is with us. It's going to be more devakas, more attachment, more awareness of Hashem, even through the challenges, more knowing Hashem, more closeness. That's what it's going to be. And this is the old, as you know, you remember me saying this years ago, Hashem tzilcha, Hashem is our shadow, that the more we come to Hashem, the more we trust in Hashem, the more we have bitachon, the more Hashem fulfills that bitachon. The more we come towards love of Hashem, the more love He's going to help us to access. The more we seek His wisdom, the more He's going to enlighten us with wisdom. So it's going to be that midah keneged midah. The more that we seek it, the more we are going to find it. And the Rambam says in Moreh Nevuchim, again, I did not that I learned in the Moreh Nevuchim. It's brought down in the Nesiv Shalom. He says that even the avos and the imahos, they experienced more siyata d'shmaya when they were thinking about Hashem and attached to Hashem than when they didn't. So if the Rambam wouldn't have said it, we wouldn't be able to say such a thing, but he says that about the avos. So yes. Okay, I hope that answers that.
No, that's amazing, because you just made me also realize, like, whatever we pay attention to is what we draw in. So if we're looking for almost like affirmation not affirmation, if we're looking for confirmation for things that we are having fears about or anxieties about or our limiting beliefs about ourselves, if we are looking for that, Hashem's going to show you that. But if you flip that and you really believe in yourself, or whatever the positive of it, which is really seeing the elokus of yourself, then that's like diving into having more expansive consciousness, aka da'as. And so you just clarified it. Thank you so much, Chaya. Beautiful.
Great to see you, Michelle. Great to see you.
You too. Thank you.
I also want to ask you something.
Yeah.
You said something that was really, for me, extremely profound in the world that we live in today. You said that it was so interesting to me, because it's exactly what Michal said, is the consciousness that you bring into yourself. You know what I'm saying? And we all talk about loving Hashem, but you said something so interesting. We live in a world with so much conflict today, not to say that the world before the Holocaust wasn't in conflict either, but the world that we understand it from today, of living in a bubble of peace from the time of the Holocaust, we live in a world of such tremendous conflict today, and with so much evil that we see, it's hard sometimes to balance,
right.
Hashem's hiddenness in it. But you said something so amazing, and it really ties into what Michal said, is that when we're looking for Hashem, for the love of Hashem, don't look at the evil in the world, you said, right? You said, look at the greatness in the world. Look at the great people in the world. And that was a very pivotal moment for me when you said that. A very, very pivotal moment. So I want to thank you so much for that.
Okay, I'm very grateful.
Because it shows you how much you have to work on your brain, like almost on a constant basis, because otherwise you're so bombarded with the world that we live in that it's so hard. And it's just so true, everything you're saying, even your meditation, like where you have to take yourself constantly in order to go into that feeling of really loving Hashem.
Right. Thank you, Naomi.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm just mentioning to everybody again, go to my website, which is Hinda.net. I'm just going to put it again here. Anybody wants that guided imagery, you join the email list and send me an email, and I will send you back that guided imagery with pleasure.
Hinda, that was so moving. That guided imagery really touched me so much. It was exquisite. It really put me in such an amazing place. And I thank you so much. We all thank you. Thank you for coming on with us this morning. Thank you for the gifts you've given us. And we wish you a beautiful Elul, and we hope to be in touch with you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Hinda. I was so touched by you reaching out to me. Thank you so much for including me. It's an exceptionally special group of women. And just to be able to be in our world where we are and talk about loving Hashem together is a tremendous source. So a tremendous source of simple to see everybody joining together. Thank you, everybody. Really wonderful to join with you. Thank you, Yehuda, for reaching out to me. Bye, everyone.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this morning.